in a sec.
What's AD? Oh, hello, people.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Forgive us for being a little bit late. My fault. And as you can probably tell, because it's the morning here, you know, my voice is not awake yet, and I'm just. It's all a bit frayed and loose at the edges, but you know, I've just about got myself together.
Oh, it'll kick in. It'll kick in.
It will kick in, and I've just got this chart printed off here. So with one of these things, I'm just having kind of like slow computer issues, which I should know, and things just taking a long time to get going. But of course, I'm here with the wonderful Dr. Lena Rodriguez, and we're treating you to a show today. Although many of you, of course, probably will catch up with the show later because a lot of you will be asleep, frankly,
yes,
isn't it?
Indeed.
You know, it's just one of those things. So we've had a little brief little chat backstage about what we're going to talk about today, and one of the questions that we had come in, which is a very interesting one, we want to talk about Chris Cuomo. Yeah, brother of
Andrew.
the octopus. Yeah. As I now call him, the octopus. All right, for entertainment purposes only, just get that one in there while we can. Now, I sent out for questions yesterday, actually, a bit later than I planned, actually. Normally, I'll do it a couple of days in advance so people have time to respond. So this question has come in from CC Ryder. And she's basically, it's actually really quite a long question, but she was talking about the background, saying that Forbes, Yahoo, and News and other media outlets are saying that Chris's female audience has dropped, by 45%, apparently. Which is a lot. Yeah, which is a lot. So she's asking here, the Boston Herald and other media outlets are calling for CNN to fire Chris for ethics violations. So the question is, will Chris suffer consequences legally or ethically? And will this scandal affect Chris's relationship with Don Lemon? But let's go to that legal one, because I think in many ways, Lena, I'm sure you would agree, that's the more kind of pressing question, isn't it? So
for those who aren't across this issue, Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, has resigned virtually overnight. He was accused of sexual harassment. He was in the throes of fighting that. And I did a read on him maybe a week ago and thought he would stay. But since then, I'm beginning to think there's a health issue as well. And he was gearing up all these Rottweiler lawyers and stuff, and then suddenly leaves. And Chris, it would appear, I haven't seen his show, but apparently he's supporting his brother, which is demented.
Oops. Oops. What I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to quickly grab Andrew Cuomo's chart. Yeah.
Oh, good idea. Well, I'll do a quick read while you're doing that.
Yeah, because I did a live on him the other day, last week.
Okay, so let's have a look, everyone. We're going to look at Chris Cuomo's show because he's been a CNN anchor guy for a while. He's been hugely popular, hugely successful, has said all the right things right through, Duc L'Orange's presidency. He was vehemently anti, very forthright. Now he's hemorrhaging viewers because of his brother or support of his brother. So legally, is he going to be taken to task? Now for this, I suspect he's in trouble.
Yeah.
Here is the Eight of Swords, which is, I think, where he's feeling hemmed in. That's usually the hostage card. Tonight I'm using the this particular deck, the Toth deck, which I wouldn't use for normal people, but we're not talking about normal people. So 8 of Swords, what that's about is being hemmed in by issues and feeling you don't have a choice, feeling that no one understands you and so forth. So I think the Italian brothers, he felt he had no choice but to support him, which is kind of dumb, for want of a better word. When you're a public figure, you could go neutral, support him behind the scenes or whatever, but this is not good as the starting card. Then he gets the Queen of Wands, which can be very judicial. We're talking about the legal aspect. The Ace of Wands, so it could be the beginning of something very heavy coming down. I think he's misreading this from beginning to end. He's handling this badly, and at each little micro step where he could have pulled himself back, had a different strategy, he's gone for the direct approach, and that's really not the smartest. Then I have, this is very like the I Ching, isn't it? Now, this deck was painted in the 20s, and yet it's so futuristic, isn't it? It's
absolutely gorgeous.
But in the Thoth deck, it's change. So change, when you've been very successful, you don't want to see change. Right? So change is heading his way. And my final card in this deck is indolence, meaning laziness or something. So it's an odd card to have here, but I think it's like a version of indolence. He's been too lazy to think it through properly. He's just gone on reflex from this 8 of Swords. So I think Chris Cuomo's in trouble. What have you got chart-wise?
Right. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll read you on the chart, and then I'll pull as well and see what I get.
Okay. Is this Andrew, the governor of New York? It's Chris.
So this is Andrew Cuomo's chart. However, an astrological chart, the way I refer to it is, like, for example, if I just quickly show you here, I'll show you, I'll just give you an example here of a chart. This is someone I've got a client coming up. What I will do is I will just cover their name here with my this thingy bob here. So if you look here, let's see if you can see that. Oh God, everything backwards on StreamYard. Now, what you can see here, this is what we call Drishti. Yeah, this is Drishti. This here is the D1. This is where the planets were at the time that this person was born. Yeah, this chart here. The chart below, and that's called the D1. The chart below is called the D9. And that is a subdivision. So imagine one of these squares here, which is a house, subdivided into 9 slices. And that gives you this chart here, which is often referred to as the chart of marriage. But really, it's the chart of Dharma, destiny. Ultimately, not everyone gets married. This is the tree. This is the fruit of the tree. And even though that this is a 2-dimensional piece of paper, an astrological chart, what I found, works in 4 dimensions at least. Yeah? So what happens is this: even though we're talking about Chris, and I've got his brother's chart up, what everyone should know is, and this is one of my little mottos, planets are people. Yeah, planets are people. Yeah. So when I'm looking at someone's chart, I'm not just looking at their energetic blueprint. I'm also looking at their family, their friends, and even their bosses and work colleagues. Yeah, it's all in there. Now, the important thing is that planet Mars is the karka, which means indicator of siblings. Yeah, brothers in particular. Venus will show females, female relatives, females of all kinds, sisters. But Mars is particularly brothers. So when we look here in Andrew Cuomo's chart, when we look at the 9th house, which is to do with law, philosophy, higher learning. It deals with law and lawmakers, publishing, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. He, of course, was a lawyer. But if we look in here, we see here, this is Rahu. Yeah, this is Rahu. And Rahu deals a lot with fame. Rahu deals a lot with obsession. Rahu in his shadow side can even deal with people that tell pork pies. Yeah. So whoever Rahu.
That's lies for people who aren't from the old country.
Yeah, there we are. There we are. Yeah, lies. It's very associated with lying. Remember, for entertainment purposes only. So if we look here, we see in Andrew Cuomo's chart, Rahu, which is prone to lying, is with the planet of deception, Neptune. Yeah, which is illusions, gaslighting, and all that stuff. It's there with Jupiter, which again represents the law and abundance and expansiveness. But look, it's also here with Mars. Mars is the brother. That is Chris Cuomo, because look, there is a famous brother.
Yes.
I even wrote here. What did I write here? So I put here, Rahu lies is involved. So I put here, Chris must be careful. Yeah.
Oh.
Chris must be careful because he may get embroiled in the situation with his brother and try and what? Gaslight everyone. Neptune, throw a glamour on it. Put a spin on it to try and make it seem, because Neptune has the ability to make the unreal appear real, or things that to create fantasies or illusions.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting? And here, what we also see by Drishti, this is like the special aspects where planets look in certain places. Mars looks 4 places, 7 places, and 8 places from himself. So if we look here, so I've actually only just drawn this line, but if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so this Mars is looking, so this is Chris is looking at his brother's 3rd house, which is what? Communications. 3rd house is media and communications. The 8th aspect will be looking at his 4th house, which is to do with home, homeland, family. Yeah. This is where this is where Andrew Cuomo's moon is. Yeah, this is the octopus part of him. Bless. And if you look here, by Mars's 4th aspect, 1, 2, 3, 4, he's looking at over here, and it's looking at Venus. What's Venus? Women. And it's happening in Andrew Cuomo's 12th house. And the 12th house is known as the house of what? Bed pleasures.
Sex and death.
Sex, death, loss. Really, it's known as a Dustana house, which means that it's a tricky house. So here we have the brother, Chris, who is famous, who has his own platform, that is trying to provide support to his brother, Andrew, in regards to women and his bed pleasures, and is trying to spin things in a way to make it look better than they actually are. And this is going to get him into trouble because it's too late. The cover is blown. So what I'll do is I'll quickly do a quick pull myself. But isn't that interesting how it can show up? Sense. Yeah. And I covered this in the video live that I did. I said, Chris has got to watch out. He's got to be very, very careful, because we can see here, because he's done, as you know, he's done the brother thing. Great, fine, but it's clouded his judgment, because with here Neptune, as well, Neptune is fog. So whenever you see Neptune conjunct planets, there is a potential that that person is not going to see that area of life very clearly, depending on what that planet represents. So here, because we know Mars is brothers and Neptune is so close with Rahu, it means Chris has not perceived the situation around his brother very accurately and what it could mean for him. So it cuts both ways. All right, so let's see here. So we're asking about Chris, aren't we? What's going on with Chris? and his show. What's in the pipeline? There we are. That one wants to come out. How many cards did you do? Did you do 3 or did you do?
I think I did 5.
All right, I'll do 5 as well. See where I'm pulled. And let's see what my cards rocked up here. Oh, it's all in the saddle, guys. Here, yeah, we're just riding along. Oh my goodness. All right, you're gonna chuckle at this, Lena. You're gonna
good.
This. So here we go. Look at that.
You said I'd chuckle.
Yeah, 9 of Swords. So we know straight off the bat, Chris is really having some serious anxiety about this. And of course, what happened with his brother. Now, it makes sense, of course, because his brother's in distress and he wants to, you know, help out and what have you. It's a big deal, but we can see these are significant worries. When we look at the obstacle, look at that. 5 of Cups, everyone. And yeah, make sure it's the 5. Yeah, 5 of Cups. So we can see he's really in a state of emotional turmoil. You see here, not only for his brother, but also himself. I'm sure the executives would have been having words, and they would have been like, "These ratings are not doing well." Then what do we get next? Look, the Death card. Honestly, you can't make this up, as I say. So here, when we look here, normally when the Death card is the right way up, you know, this is about transformation, change coming, you know, ending of a cycle, etc. But when it's reversed here, that's like you said, you've got change coming along, but this is someone that doesn't want to let go. Doesn't want to let go. So it's like he is also going through a paradigm shift where it's almost like, because we need to remember with the Death card, you've got the Pope, who's pleading, pleading with death. But look, the king is already squashed underfoot.
Yes, his crown has rolled off.
His crown has rolled off. So this, of course, is Andrew Cuomo, who's just been trampled, by the whole situation. And this is Chris here, trying to plead. But death is like, I'm not having it. And here we are.
That's right.
You know, the world has come out. Here we are. Here's the world come out, ending of big cycles. And there she is with her boobs out. And she's saying, it's over. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a big cycle has just completed in Chris Cuomo's career. And what in regards to what? If we look here.
I got her too.
Look at that. So it looks like something legal is coming down the pipeline. And as you know, when it comes, the GOP, when it comes to certain things as well, they are just utterly ruthless. And they will be pulling every string and wangle and contact that they have to basically get Chris removed from his show. And unfortunately, Chris, I think he gave evidence, didn't he, in regards to some aspect of the investigation. So I think his hands are tied already.
Oh, okay. Now we have a question here from our delicious viewers. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
The question is, can we have a look at whether Manchin, as in the name, the guy Manchin, and that Congresswoman Sinema, I forget her first name, will they support the voting rights legislation? The question is, will they make way for it? Will they, allow it through on their watch? Will Joe Manchin, and I forget her name.
You know what? Okay. When I think of those two, and I was having a little bit of a rant last night, because I did a live on Hillary Clinton, looking at the energy of the 2016 election and what happened. Yes. Really interesting. It was a combination of bad luck with the timing and a bit of mismanagement. The sun wasn't quite strong enough to pull her through. But anyway, one of the things I was talking about, I was saying, look, if we need, at the end of the day, what's this? This is what? A pen. This is a pen. And what do they say? They say the pen is mightier than the sword, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when we think of the Yeti, / Duck L'Orange, very rarely did we see this guy without his pen. Yeah. He was signing executive orders, as if the second coming was about to happen. And he needed to stitch up as much as he could, while he had the time. A certain Mr. Biden needs to recognize that he can do the same thing with his pen.
Hello, Earth to Joe Biden, particularly environmental stuff. The DACA stuff, 70% of Americans support the Dreamers. Just go ahead with your great big fat pen, please.
Absolutely. Ground control.
There's no point talking to these people. It's arguing with a rock. Just do it.
Exactly. Just do it. So my little philosophy is, look, particularly in regards to the insurrection, it should be this. It should be old school. You get the jail wagon out, even do it with hosts and horse and traps and whatever, just for a bit of theatre. You round them up, throw them in, and what you do is like, right, everyone, you're all getting 100 years in jail, and what you do is you argue backwards to reduce your sentence, and the least criminal of you will probably get 20 years. And for the rest,
I'm loving that. I'm loving it.
Backwards.
The ball's in their court.
Absolutely. So with cinema.
Okay, so we're doing mansion and cinema. Will they support this to go through?
Cinema. Will support this? Mansion,
cinema. Ace of Pentacles. What I've got here, will I go ahead?
Yes, please do. Yes.
These cards look quite good, I think, for them. They're the fence sitters in a lot of these issues. But this is the fundamentals. This is the nuts and bolts of democracy. This should not be hard to work out. Anyway, I've got the Three of Wands. This is another deck altogether, by the way. This is New World Tarot.
Oh, I love the variety.
Yeah, something for everyone. Okay, the Three of Wands. So this is thinking seriously about things, someone who's applying their mind to the issue. Well, that'd be a change, wouldn't it? That'd set them apart for a start. Behind them on this Ace of Pentacles, it has to be done. It is fundamental. Aces are the number ones in tarot. It is fundamental and stability. Pentacles stability is fundamental for the stability of the nation for this stuff to go forward. So they're thinking about it. Strength underneath, which I like. That's good. It gets a bit iffy here. We have the Nine of Swords. I think that could be either one of them supporting it and one of them not, or having to be dragged to the table, kicking and screaming and trying to water it down or something. I don't like that. But outcome, Six of Swords, moving to a safer place. So I think they're genuinely thinking about it, but there's an issue. There's something's a bit sticky. Right. What did you get?
Right. Okay. Well, before I let rip on my cards, it's come out quite interesting, actually. I'll just do some hellos. So who's in the house today? We have, how do I say? So we've got Jason Mitchell. We've got Twyana. Twyana, I think is how you would say that. We have got Sharon, we've got Norma and Deborah Rose, and obviously I'll call out a few more. So thank you everyone for joining us. Now, okay, look what I've got. So straight off the bat, look at this. An insincere offer. Yeah. An insincere offer. So we know, we know what these two bags of love, shall we say? I could call them something worse.
Yes, but indeed.
Bags of love, let's just call them that. Because the Knight of of Cups can actually deal with romance, yeah, but this is an insincere offer.
Yes.
This is the guy that kind of, you know, gets you in a bit of difficulty, shall we say, and runs off, you know, when the bun's in the oven, yeah, and you're just left to, you know, carry on with things.
Yes,
so
bring up the twins. Yeah.
Indeed, bring up the twins. So what this suggests to me is that there is, when it comes to cinema and mention, there is something insincere about what they're doing. It's not genuine because it's obvious what needs to happen. When we see what did they get for the obstacle cast, look at that, the 6 of Swords turns up again. So, but this also suggests as well, there's something that they are wanting to escape. Wanting to get away from, but they're feeling stuck. And I think what it is that they have now, for entertainment purposes only, they have people that are steering them to do something, steering them. Because in a way, if we actually look here, it's not just the person on their own. It's not just the woman and the child. There's a gondolier here. So it's not like they're rowing their own boats, even though we know that we're wanting to move to smoother waters. We're getting in the reverse, and that's making me focus on this person here. There are people, I think, who are trying to steer cinema and mention in a certain direction, and they are conflicted because it's not the direction that supports the GOP. Why else are they just
putting their hands up?
Someone else is steering things from the behind. The situation is actually quite illuminated for everyone, but look, the Sun card is in reverse. So this is almost like, it's like they don't want it to come to light that there are other factors involved, because there has to be a reason why they're not moving to the smoother waters. Smoother waters, of course, would be just to support the government, just to support your own party and your country. So here they're trying to stop that illumination. Why? Because there is big business involved. This is the entrepreneur card. This could also speak about Mention as well himself, because it is technically a male card. But I think there's business people. There's other factors of an entrepreneurial nature that are involved in this halt. But ultimately, look at the card I got. Now we can sometimes refer to this card as being America. But sometimes I also have this as Duck L'Orange as well. So it's a tricky one. Part of me is like, well, this could mean ultimately that it works out, for America, and they do the right thing. Or is Duck L'Orange the ultimate factor here when it comes to whether or not this package passes or not? So for me, this is a bit double-edged in this context, because we know that we're dealing with slippery characters, because, the majority of these, they're basically been reversed. So when I come to here,
you have to be suspicious.
I have to be a little bit suspicious about this card. Because I know this card does refer to Duck L'Orange as well, because here, for me, of course, like with all these stars around, but it's spotlight, can also be show business,
Because it raises another issue, which is I'm not that confident about this legislation because it seems like it's a slam dunk, but not. There is so much. This is the one that the GOP will throw their bodies across the floor for, because they know they can only win elections in the future by gerrymandering and tampering and entertainment purposes only. And so they are hyper invested in this. So I'm not 100% convinced it will get through. And in fact, it should be something else that Biden has on his list to sign. I don't know if a president has enough authority to do that.
Well,
or not? Can someone let us know if you know the answer to that question? Maybe a president, there is a line and they can't do an executive thing on that.
Well, the thing is, it's better for Joe to push an executive order, have it authorized, and then have the GOP try and unravel it,
Then
rather than
yeah.
being all kumbaya, all sweet and like, because even though he's a double Scorpio, he's the section of Scorpio that he's in is called Anuradha. Yeah, Anuradha. This is the nakshatra, the star clusters that actually give the flavor to the star signs. And Anuradha is basically a longer version of Radha. And basically, according to the myths of Vedic astrology, Krishna, who we know is a deity, was very ill. Yeah. And one of the rishis prophesied that unless someone would take his place, he was going to die. Yeah. And that was going to be the end of that. But the person who took his place had to, live in hell for like 13,000 years or, something like it was dreadful. Yeah. So no one wanted to do it. Like Krishna had all these wives and associates and everyone just sort of like backed on the table, just like, sorry, mate, I can't 13,000 years in hell.
Love you, bro, but
just like, not sure about that. But there was someone who put themselves forward, and that was Radha. She said, I will do it because I love Krishna so much. And she did. Yeah. So she went through all those torturous things and eventually was deified. But what Radha is about devotion. Yeah. This is the very devotional part of Scorpio. Yeah. This is where they can get so attached to a very high ideal and they're prepared to die for that ideal.
Oh, right. Okay.
The trouble is, what if that ideal is not doing you any good? Yeah, it didn't do Radha any good. Yeah, to devote whatever. Joe Biden is a double Scorpio in that portion of the sky. He is devoted to being bipartisan. He is devoted to try and work with the other team, even though we can see they're a rabid lot of MAGA-infested, petted, scurrilous, money-grubbing, you-know-what.
Yeah.
And he's still devoting himself. Do you notice he's still, I want to be bipartisan. And
yeah.
He needs to do
it's so misplaced. Yeah.
Take the pen and do it, because Trump is very Scorpionic, but he is Scorpio in Jeshta, which comes just after Anuradha. This is where Scorpios get the bad reputation, but this is the warlord, the king fighting for your battle no matter what, never ever giving in. It's the fight to the death. Yeah, we can see that with Duck Larange. He was not scared to use his pen. So there you are.
Now, word is out that on September 18th, the MAGAs, or the maggots as we might call them now after you've brought that up, a branch of the maggots are planning Insurrection Mark II. And they're intending to go to the Capitol and do it all again. And it's like you can see this sliding scale of trying to keep people on board, right? At first it was January 6th, and then it was August 13. Oh, he's going to be back. He's going to be back. And now they've pushed it out to September 18th. They're just trying to milk it month by month for as long as they can. So what do we see about September 18, and will it take off? Will it be a big frightening episode, or what? What will happen? I'll go back to my nasty cards.
So what we did, folks, like just beforehand, I printed off a chart here. Now, let's see here. I'm actually going to turn my light off because I think it's causing a bit of glare. So let's just unplug that and let's see if that shows up a little bit better.
Not marvelous, have to say.
Not much.
You'll have to decipher it for us.
Yeah, it's a shame because whenever you use paper, it can affect the lighting because of course paper is so reflective. Let me just get my lighting back on so you can't see the bags under my eyes so well. Yeah. I was just up so late last night. Okay, so now isn't this funny? Do you remember we were talking about Scorpio? So this is what I did. I took the date. Now, this is what's wonderful with this astrological software. You can put any date in and then you can get a chart cast for it. So I took the 18th of September, 2021, and I took 12 midday. Yeah, because historically, this is just when stuff happens. Yeah, midday, it tends to high noon and then, whatnot. So I took that for Washington, D.C. And what is remarkable is this. Is that at that now you've got to remember an ascendant is the sign rising on the eastern horizon at the time a chart is cast or a time the person is born. And an ascendant lasts for 2 hours. 2 hours. There's 12 signs and 24 hours in a day. So each sign gets 2 hours in order for someone to be the ruler of the chart, shall we say. We were just talking about Scorpio, weren't we? When I cast the chart, look at this. I don't know if you can see. So if I just point here with my pen.
Where's your magic wand?
Yeah, there we are. Absolutely. There we are. The wand. Now, if we look at that. Look at that. Now,
what am I looking at, Hogarth? You have to decipher it for me.
So here, what you're looking at here, this is the first house. This is the first house. And this house here in the South Indian chart is always Scorpio.
Oh, wow. We can't get away from Scorpio tonight. Oh, my word.
It's all like what's happening is that basically the south node of the moon at the moment, which is Ketu. Yeah, my nickname for him is Snip Snip. Snip Snip. Yeah, and Rahu, the north node of the moon, I call Gobble Gobble. Yeah, it really does work that way. So at the moment, the nodes of the moon are in sidereal Taurus and sidereal Scorpio. This is also another reason why we're seeing so much cray-cray go on right now. Now, one of the shadow aspects of Scorpio is what? Conspiracy theories.
Absolutely.
At that hour in Washington at 12 o'clock, Scorpio will be rising on the eastern horizon in the USA. Yeah, Scorpio will be rising and it will be at 2 degrees. It will be at 2 degrees 31 minutes. Now, if I remember correctly, that should be the back end of Vishaka. Yeah, let me just get my because I'm doing normally I'm prepared for a lot of tarot when I'm with Lena, but we're having astrology today. 1 minute. So I need to consult my nakshatra ephemeris. So if we look here, this is a nakshatra wheel. It will look a bit crazy, but the Pisces, Aries, Taurus, etc.
Oh, yeah, got it.
So I call these the 12 pizza slices, yeah? But here, you see these subdivisions. I call these the pizza fingers. These are the nakshatras. And each one is, and these are 13 degrees, 20 minutes wide, yeah? And the moon spends about 1 day in each nakshatra because she moves 13 degrees, 20 minutes each day. And here, so this sets up a whole sequence in a person's life. Too long to explain. But if we look at that degree of Scorpio, so let's see here. And let's see if it covers Vishaka. Yes. Cool. So basically, there is an overlap. Where's Vishaka? Vishaka goes here, yeah? And it goes between Libra and Scorpio. And Anuradha starts at 3 degrees, 20 minutes. So what it means is this ascendant here is in Vishaka. What is Vishaka about? The nakshatra of Vishaka is about victory, wanting to win at all costs. Isn't that interesting?
Isn't it?
At that time, it's in Scorpio, in a section of Scorpio, which is wanting to win at all costs. Also as well, Vishaka, although it can be very powerful and it can have some positive aspects, it can also be ruthless and heartless. And it's on the Scorpio side, yeah? So this shows that there is this kind of ruthless conspiracy theory-led ideology that is rising at that day, on that day, at that time. Now, does it mean that they'll be successful? I'm not so sure. Here we've got snip snip in the first house, yeah? Snip snip is in the first house. The first house is the body, yeah? I call this wherever Ketu is, it's like a little vasectomy is happening. Yeah. And here it's in the first house. So what this suggests is that there might be a great fervor, a great passion. You'll have a lot of people that are wanting to affect things. They're going to want victory at all costs, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to succeed. Yeah.
No.
Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to succeed. Also, as well, we need to look at the third house here, which is in Capricorn, which is government. And here we have got Saturn retrograde with Jupiter retrograde, but with Pluto. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's covered by the media. Third house is media. Yeah, it could be hyped up. But also as well, when we look here, this is the moon in the fourth house. And with Neptune, and this is homeland. So I think it's going to be used to create a bigger deception.
Could be. One of the viewers said, I'm a Scorpio and I'm not going to the capital.
Not all the Scorpios are dodgy, but also as well, I use Scorpio in Western astrology, because if you're Scorpio in Western astrology, you're probably a Libra. You're probably a Libra.
Oh, there we go. So we'll just pull a few cards on the 18th, see if there's anything to worry about or not. I read on it the other day and it didn't look too bad, but let's see.
Okay, the 18th.
Okay.
On the 18th.
On the 18th.
What's going on?
Looks like on the 18th.
People. All right, the 18th. The 18th. What's the energy around the 18th? Let's see. The energy around the 18th. I just feel like, you know, it could get pushed back to October and then, you know, whatever, as long as it keeps the money coming in. But let's see.
Yeah, I think that's what it's really about. I think there will be a presence because it looks really bad for them if they announce this stuff and no one turns up. So I think someone will, but I'm not getting mass anything. First of all, of course, I'm sure the Capitol will be much better defended. But what I get is here are the impulsive knights, you know, meaning these guys getting, you know, cars and buses and stuff and turning helicoptering in, not literally, but
motorcycles maybe.
Yeah, going for it. There will be some strife. Ironically, I think there might be strife between themselves. This is what happens when you get a group of these knuckle-dragging, testosterone-driven guys. They start to turn on each other, but there's going to be some sort of, we call it argy-bargy going on. But you know what? I'm pleased to see this. This is the card of being saturated. This is the 10 of Cups. People are sick of it. They're sick of them and they're sick of the whole, you know, all this chaos up the wazoo. They're just over it. And the world. Let's grow up, shall we? Let's put this. So there's a 10, end of a cycle. The world, end of a major cycle. It's like it almost has to happen so they can see it, be contained, pushed over, pushed away is better than them thinking they're powerful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
almost has to happen for it to look like the fizzer that it is,
Yeah.
even if there's some ugliness. That's what I do.
Absolutely, because what I've got, and let's just click on this here. What's going on? Someone made a donation. God, my computer's really slowing up today. How's your connection? Thanks, Christopher, by the way. Thanks.
Mine's fine. Maggie just commented, yeah, the fire will burn itself out. Yeah, I think they're doing this to keep their own morale up in La La Land, you know,
Yeah.
in Macho Disneyland, which is where they live, you know. They've got to keep it up, but it's not going down well. Yeah, what have you got?
Now, what is interesting here, all of the cards that I've picked, I mean, all of them are reversed. All of them. So first one, if we look here, look at that. So basically, we can look at this. They are pondering. Yeah, they're pondering. As we know, this is the card of pondering, and, you know, trying to make choices and maybe not really liking what's on offer. I mean, here it's like they're really pondering, and they're kind of like, they're probably debating amongst themselves whether or not they should even go forward with this thing at all.
That's what I'm thinking. It might not happen. I think they're having those conversations right now. They started off probably a month ago going, you know.
What do you? Yeah, but now I think it's more like,
yeah, and it's like some are going to pull out because they're thinking, I don't want to be associated with this nonsense. Not politically, but they don't want to be part of a small crowd.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
And just like you said, you know, it is an advertisement as well, like you said in one of your videos, which was, please arrest me, please, you know. So it's like, so there's that. So what do we have as the obstacle? Look, the big Don, the big Don, Dark Larange, but in reverse, in reverse. So really, these two cards, even before I look at the others, encapsulate the problems that these people have.
Yes,
which is this guy worth it?
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Do I put myself in jeopardy for this guy who is clearly deranged? Yeah, because when we see this in reverse, when it's the right way up, this can be, you know, patriarchy, you know, being in control, authority, all this stuff. But when it's reversed, this can be a mean-spirited, dictatorial man who is basically the douchebag. Yeah.
Yes, so let's not dress it up.
Exactly. So really, they're thinking like, do we sacrifice time to this douchebag? Yeah, they're not sure. Also, as well, the funding may not be what it was. Yeah, because we know that money exchanged hands. Yeah, this is what the commission's going to find out.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, dished out. People paid for buses. Now it's kind of like, sorry, honey, pay for your own bus fare. Yeah. And they're like, ooh, this could cost me a bit. You know, this
not to mention legal fees.
Exactly, legal fees as well, because here this is money changing hands, but it's kind of like being indebted as well.
Yeah.
This way it's charity, this way it's debts. Yeah. So I think these guys are having to face quite a lot of financial repercussions because a lot of them have lost their jobs. Yeah.
Yes.
Now they're scrubbing floors somewhere, you know, if they have been able to get any job at all, or quietly hoping and waiting for the next stimulus check to come. Yeah.
Yes.
From that man they don't like. Hypocrites. Anyway, so when we look here, we get what? There we are, the magician. Reverse.
Oh, I love that.
I know. So there we are. We can see it's all about what? Manipulation. When it's the right way up, this is about power, striving forward, bold. Yeah. Commanding heaven and earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's reversed. Yeah. So it's like manipulation. Maybe some of them are realizing at last that they're being manipulated, that it's just a grift to get more money. And then as the outcome card, look at this. 4 of Swords going into retreat. Yeah. So when it's the right way up, we understand that this is taking a rest, taking a bit of time out. You may have had a wound in battle, but you're meditating, you're reflecting. When it's reversed, you're like, oh my God, you can barely get out of bed. Yeah.
That's right.
You try and get out of bed and you can get stabbed by the swords. And also as well, what this could also show, maybe a lot of them have COVID.
Could be, particularly if they went to the Sturgis motorcycle rally, where 100,000 of them or something went,
I think quite a lot of them will either be having COVID and having to deal with it, or by that point, the numbers of the COVID cases are so great that it will become a non-starter, because they'll be like, you can't assemble here. You can't.
Yes.
The numbers are too high. So, sickness as well could also.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, it's one of those bring it on. Let's see what it looks like now, this movement.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed. So we've got about 10 minutes left. I remember a little bit of celeb stuff potentially. Did you want to throw?
Oh no, that was just a bit of nonsense. No, it's all right, because we can move on to other things. Someone asked about tomorrow, because it's supposed to be the 13th that Duc L'Orange is being reinstated. But I think we can all safely assume that isn't going to happen. That'll be fun. I have a question, which is, why, when the whole world has stopped for a year and a half, right, by conventional standards, etc., why the stock market everywhere is doing great guns? Now, I talk to my viewers regularly about the difference between the stock market, which is a casino, and the economy, which is where most people live. Now, some people pay attention to the stock market because their retirement is invested in it, which is how they keep people on board. But the reality is there's only the thinnest of gossamer threads connecting the stock market and the economy. Brexit has kicked off in all its disastrous glory, and yet the stock market's still all right. So my question is, why is this global stock market still managing to keep, if you like, the balls in the air or whatever?
Do you know, when you asked me that question, what I saw in my mind's eye immediately was your circus deck.
Oh, yes. Pity I haven't got them with me as we speak. Yeah, it is one of those. So let's look at global stock markets.
Global stock market.
Why are they still so high? We sort of know. I guess it's a confidence game. It's the ultimate confidence game.
Yeah.
Let's see what's ahead for the stock markets.
Okay, stock market. What's the energy around?
Yeah, that's a good question. What's the energy around stock market?
Energy around stock market. Oh, the words that come to my mind is this rich man's playground.
Yeah, that's weird. I was just about to say it's a rich man's playground. That's kind of spooky.
Oh, you were going to say the same? Wow. Yeah. That's the download I got.
That's kind of spooky.
This is fascinating.
You go.
Yeah. All right. So this is so interesting. All right. So look at the first card I get. Yeah. So this is the Three of Pentacles, which is all about what? Teamwork, money, working with each other. So basically, it's collusion, folks. It's collusion. If you look here, it's always backwards, isn't it? There's two commissioners here. Looking at this guy here doing the work.
Broker.
Yeah, the broker. So quite literally, these are the investors. Yeah, these are the best investors, and this is the brokers and all that stuff. Basically, it's a kind of closed shop. It's a closed shop. Yeah. If we look here, there are what? If we look at the obstacle, but this isn't really the obstacle. This is really talking about what's going on. So look at this. We have the Magician card come back, but look, the right way up. So
they're
we
good
can
at this
see
stuff.
Here, It's amazing, isn't it? So here we are. We have got powerful people collaborating to keep the balls in the air. It's as if it's magic.
Yes.
It's as if it's magic. They are somehow, there's such powerful workers here that they're able to keep the money going irrespective of how the real economy is working.
It's independent of it.
Magic. Yeah.
Yeah. And I got the magician, the magic.
Oh, look at that. See, look at that. And what we have as well is the strength card. Yeah. So what this says is we have powerful magicians, powerful financial magicians and institutions at work here, really to keep this all going. However, look, our money changing hands card
yes,
back, but it's reversed. Yeah, so it shows that there's something behind the scenes. There's a lot of people working very hard to keep this all propped up, folks.
Yes.
A lot of people working very hard to keep it propped up, but I think the battle is getting harder. Yeah, because what's going to happen is planet Jupiter in September is going to go back into sidereal Capricorn, which is his sign of debilitation. And whenever Jupiter is in Capricorn, it tends to affect the economy, yeah? But also the stock market. So there's going to be some kind of correction. Now, how big that correction will be depends. But because we see there are very, very powerful people at work who have basically been able to use their magic tricks.
Yes.
And their strength to kind of float above the real economy, which we know really is the tangled knot of weaves. Yeah. Globally, we know supply chains aren't working properly. A lot of people, particularly America, are telling me about the food gaps in the shelves.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys in the States know about this. We're having a little bit of this in the UK, but not too much because our suppliers, our natural suppliers, are still close. But there's an illusion here. A glamour has been thrown on this stock market, and it's not as real as people think. And at some point, because the money, something's going to change in the economy. Because of, COVID and all that kind of stuff. And they're going to have to fight a lot harder. I'm not saying it's going to collapse, but it's not going to be as easy as it was before. What did you get?
Yes, exactly. I've got virtually the same story. Wow. Right. So I've got the Four of Swords here, which is that card of retreat, talking behind the scenes. But Eight of Wands, lots of action is going on with them because that's my challenge card. They've got all this action, and how do they pretend to be calm? They're pretending to be calm. I don't think they're as serene as they make out.
Yeah.
They've got the power, the magus here, all of that, which is what they're relying on, and it's always bailed them out. But coming up is the card of completion, the circle, the wheel of completion, that they're not going to be able to keep doing this forever. And partly, I think it's because these things are not backed by anything. In the old days, everything had to be backed by the gold standard, and then everyone deregulated. And so you've got these Mickey Mouse trades of huge volumes, and it's like any other pyramid scheme. As long as you keep the talk up, it's ongoing and successful, but it's not actually based on it. That's the feeling I'm getting, is it's based on quicksand. Because no one's economy is doing very well now, a year and a half into a pandemic and post-Brexit. London was the city of money, and part of what it's lost is that reputation and that position,
Yeah, it's not so easy to do business here anymore. And I'll tell you something, Lena, as well, which will make you chuckle a bit, because I do archetypes and stuff like that as well. And I've got a friend of mine, and we always discuss archetype and wizardy stuff and everything.
Oh, I love archetypes. We have to have another conversation about that.
Yes, and so
Joseph Campbell and all of that.
Oh, indeed. And one of the main archetypes that we got for the UK was the fool and the prostitute. Yeah. And there is this weird thing. So we can see the prostitute aspect. Well, I mean, we all have a prostitute, but this is London trading with all and sundry. Yeah. Any client that comes basically is, there we are.
Oh, whoops. All the Russians just bought up London. Oh, I wasn't looking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And we sort of like play the fool, but the fool does have this certain advantage, which is that the fool can, they say in Jamaica, which is they say play fool for catch wise, which basically you play the dits, actually win a big.
Got another thing going on,
And there is this element here where the UK, but London in particular, has this thing, and it's the fool also as well deals in many ways sometimes with undeserved luck, because they just kind of luck out, and you think, how did that happen?
How did they pull that off? Yeah,
how did that happen? So because of the UK's geography, because of London's historic legacy, there'll be some way of some kind of wangling that will happen where, even though Brexit is this kind of a bit of a disaster, there is this kind of muddling through. And I think there will be this aspect where if we even decide, I don't think we will necessarily rejoin Europe. There could be a rejoining under different terms, but we're just kind of lucky geographically and historically in regards to London, and it gives us a little bit more wriggle room. We have lost money without doubt, but I don't think it's going to be a complete disaster.
Yeah. Well, that raises the other issue, which is for 100 years or since the Industrial Revolution started to fade a bit, you have the South, the wealth, all the wealth in England is in the South, nothing in the middle, and certainly nothing in the North. And so London will save itself even if people are starving in the streets, up in the old Labor strongholds.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised with that analysis. London is so iconic, speaking of archetypes, it will survive, but it's for the rest of England what it'll be like. Well, Indeed. It'll be wet, apart from anything. It'll be very wet.
I know. We're having, even by English standards, we're having quite a mediocre summer here, but we're having what we call a British summer. So I think what we should do is sell water to the rest of the world, and
yes.
be fine. Yeah.
Send some to Greece, please. Oh, blessings for Greece.
Gosh, they really, really need that water. But as we can see, the time has flown. As always, you and I, Lena, the time just whizzes by. So we've gone over our hour. So I want to say thank you to everyone for showing up. And I'll do some last little call outs. So Priscilla, Porsner, Deb, Kinvig, Satya,
Sharon,
Hammy, and who else have we got here as well? Christopher, and and what's he said here? He said, oh gosh, my computer's kind of slowed up again. What's going on?
Hi, Christopher Guala.
There we are. So let me just, sorry, can you see me? My picture is frozen, it seems.
I can still see you normally moving.
Oh, okay. So here we are.
I think it might be time for a new computer, Dal.
The thing is, it is new. It's just, I just need it to run my astrological software, which only works on PCs. It has not yet arrived on Chrome or, other kind of bits.
I see.
So it's one of those things, but never mind. So thank you everyone for joining us. And of course, we will do this again at some point when Lena is a little bit less busy, because of course she's extremely busy at the moment. Well, I'm pretty busy myself, but she's super busy.
I am.
So
but I'm in yet another lockdown. So It's a new phenomenon, which is I'm really busy and bored at the same time. How can you be both? Yeah, I get through my work, but you can't go and then debrief doing normal social things. So you just work.
Gosh, it's just a life of lockdown. You just go from one lockdown. You've been trying to escape lockdowns, flying all over Australia. You know, maybe
Lena Lockdown Rodriguez, I tell you, I think if I ever get back to the Northern Hemisphere, I might have to stay quite a while to justify all this.
Well, what they'll do is they'll just back it up, you know, back to back. They'll look at all of your lockdowns and like
That's
put them together in one. But no, you know, we will be able to travel again. This too shall pass. At some point, yes, COVID will be less of a story, even though it seems hard to believe that now. But we just have to go through these various different hoops and whatnot, and we'll have to see where it goes. But thanks so much for the support, everyone. For many of you, it's very early in the morning.
And I'd like to thank our moderator, Karen. Thank you very much for being there. And she might have just killed the trolls outright, but we didn't have any.
Brilliant. They shouldn't dare. Any trolls, you know, you're thrown in the jail wagon. There you go. Anyway.
There's a number on your screen if you want to stop the helicopter roundups of the wild Mustang horses. There's a phone number on your screen.
Oh.
They're doing, you know, aerial roundups, which are bad. We do them in Australia too from time to time.
Wow.
Oh, it's a long time since England's had wild horses, but they're
really. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. All right, everyone. We will see you the next time. So thanks so much for joining us. All right.
Take care, guys. See you soon.